What's good, everyone? My name is Tylearn, and today we're going to be continuing our series of What If Naruto Learned Key Remastered. Part 3, the thumbnail's already made. I'm going to start scripting it immediately after this part, so with that being said, sorry for the long-awaited part, and with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's get straight into this What If. We start our story off with Naruto and the others waiting for Kakashi, and this is around when the Sand Trio arrive and see Team 7. Kankuro would make fun of Naruto, which would lead into him releasing a yellow aura that scares Kankuro a little bit, at least intimidates him. Gaara calls Naruto interesting and tells Kankuro to step down, and the trio then head in to check in. But before he leaves, he tells Naruto and Sasuke that they better bring a good fight. At this point, Naruto and Sasuke are now ready to just take on the Chunin exams, and this would then lead into Kakashi arriving, doing their little test before they can actually enter the exam, and of course Team 7 passes, and they would then proceed to go and check in, which would then lead into the Rock Lee encounter. Now, with the Rock Lee encounter, I feel like Naruto would still try to intervene, but then Rock Lee steps him to the side, and this would then lead into Naruto easily catching himself, and he would then proceed to blitz Rock Lee and push him all the way across the other room. There would be a hole in the wall into another room, which would then lead into Rock Lee escaping that wall, and he would then proceed to open the first gate against Naruto. Naruto would then power up his ki aura, and he and Rock Lee would then go at it. At this point, Sasuke can't even see Rock Lee and Naruto, and even with his Tomoe Sharingan, so he knows he's outclassed here. Rock Lee would then prepare to use the primary lotus, as Naruto then proceeds to engulf his fist in ki, and he and Rock Lee are about to throw hands until Might Guy intercepts, smacks Rock Lee, and apologizes to Team 7, and also tells them good luck at the Chunin exam. They would then check in, and we would then get the first round of the Chunin exams, which I feel like would happen the exact same way, and as for the second round, I feel like things are the exact same until Orochimaru arrives. Go figure. But due to Naruto having ki, this would make an explosive wave to escape the snake rather than him using shadow clones to explode it from the inside, and he would then, for the first time, awaken Kurama's chakra. With this, I'll say Naruto's ki blasts have a slight tint in orange, and his attacks are way more destructive than in canon. Naruto would try and shoot ki blasts at Orochimaru, and he does damage him, but he mostly damages the area around them. Sasuke and Sakura decide to, keep their distance and actually be above the trees and whatnot, make sure that they don't get hit by Naruto. And Naruto is actually damaging Orochimaru, and he's doing the best out of anyone on Team 7 so far. And this would then lead into Anko seeing this going down, and even if she tries to go into the forest and see this happen, she can't stop Naruto or Orochimaru, or she'll die to either one of them or both of them at the same time. So she decides to call in the big guns, aka the third Hokage, and tell them what's going on. So imagine if you're in Hiruzen's shoes at this moment. Let's just go to Hiruzen's perspective. So you're just chilling doing your work, Hokage work. Anko comes in, tells you that your old student from the past has returned, destroying multiple students in the Chunin exams, and specifically is fighting your son. Hiruzen is enraged, and he instantaneously changes into his fighting gi, and he would then proceed to head off to the forest to death, where he would then encounter Orochimaru and Naruto. When Hiruzen arrives, Orochimaru is shocked, and so is Naruto, and before Naruto is on the verge of becoming completely unstable, Hiruzen calms Naruto down and reverts him back to base form. He would then tell Team 7 to get out of here as far as possible, and at that point, Team 7 would then leave the area as Hiruzen and Orochimaru fight it out. This would then lead into a similar fight that we had in the canon story with Hiruzen and Orochimaru, but except there's no reanimated ninja here, and rather Hiruzen is actually a lot more enraged than in canon, and he's not going to hold anything back. Because sure, Orochimaru is his student, but Hiruzen, him and Naruto's connection is way stronger than him and Orochimaru's connection. And because Orochimaru tried to bring harm to his son, Hiruzen's gonna bring no mercy. Hiruzen understands that Orochimaru can't be killed, and Hiruzen just decides to just put him down because Hiruzen can at this point, since he's a lot more stronger than his canon self, and because him and Orochimaru were a relative in canon, I'll say here that Hiruzen is stronger. So this essentially means that Orochimaru is going to be put down here, and he would then be taken to the highest of security prisons in the Konoha village. At that point, he's just going to be guarded by hundreds, if not thousands, of elite Jonin, and this would then lead into Orochimaru kind of just, spending life in prison, at least for now. And since Naruto and Team 7 are basically going way farther than Orochimaru's direction, I feel like they wouldn't encounter the Sand Trio, really. And I honestly think the whole Kabuto thing they can just figure out on their own. I don't think Kabuto would really try to help them after realizing that Orochimaru is not in the forest of death anymore. I mean, in all honesty, I think Kabuto would have probably head to the area that's getting destroyed the most, aka Naruto and Orochimaru's fight, and he would then see Orochimaru versus Hiruzen. And even then, Kabuto can't do anything to Hiruzen, so all he can do is just watch. And I'll just say Team 7 gets the amount of scrolls they need, and this would then lead into the final round of the Chunin exams, or round 3, part 1 of the Chunin exams. And really, everything's kind of the same, except for maybe the sound people that were with Kabuto might not being there, but that doesn't really matter. We'll just replace them with some random fodder that Sasuke can beat up. And Sasuke isn't going to be suppressed here because he never got bit by Orochimaru. Sasuke isn't going to be hinged here because he's not bound by the curse mark, which basically means Sasuke is going to be fighting at full peak, and he would be able to body the random ninja, and he would proceed on with the Chunin exams. As for Naruto, he would body keep it rather than fart in his face. He could just one-shot him with the punch. And as for the other matches, everything is literally the exact same as in canon. And I'll just say for the sake of simplicity that the Sound Trio do survive. So Dosu does make it past the first round, but he'll die to Gaara. And then we would then move on with Jiraiya and Naruto's training, which I think would happen way faster than in canon, because I think Hiruzen would actually try and call upon Jiraiya to train Naruto, especially since they're close with each other. And since Jiraiya does have a connection with Minato, who is Naruto's son, but Naruto doesn't know that yet, he'll decide to train him. As for Hiruzen, I think Hiruzen, after that Orochimaru encounter, would start thinking to himself that Naruto needs to be pushed to the limit. And I'm not talking about, the normal limit, chakra training, basic stuff like that. Like, no. Naruto needs to be pushed over the edge. This would basically mean Hiruzen and Jiraiya are going to be combining their powers to train Naruto, which means Naruto is going to be significantly stronger than his canon self. And instead of learning some chakra techniques, he's going to learn still how to control the Nine Tails, but that's really the only thing similar that he's going to be learning. And really everything else is going to be ki based. He's going to be having stronger ki attacks. He's going to be able to actually pick himself from the ground more than 10 seconds, and he can actually fly around for at least a minute. So Naruto can actually throw a couple attacks in the air, but he can only do it for a minute before collapsing, because him flying, it's just really hard on the body. And as for other things, Naruto is able to, kind of manipulate his ki into his body a lot better. Like, he can make a lot better barriers. He can make explosive waves casually. He can put ki to his fist and leg simultaneously. He can just do all of that a lot better. Now, we would then proceed to move on with Naruto versus Neji, and this fight is going to be completely different than in canon. A complete 180, if you will. This time when Neji hits Naruto with his, 64 palms and negs his chakra points, Naruto can still utilize ki because ki and chakra are two different things. This means Naruto can still attack, and he decides he's going to finish it in one final blow, charging at Neji for the final clash. And before Neji hits Naruto, as they're going at each other to clash, Naruto would quickly jump up into the air, and he would then engulf his fist with ki. He would then say to Neji that this is over, as Neji would then try to use rotation to block Naruto's attack. But with Naruto's raw power, he would overpower the rotation and smash Neji's head in. Not literally, like, Neji isn't dead, but Naruto made Neji slumped. Like, Neji is slumped right now. He's on the ground, his face is smacked into the ground. Naruto won the match with no difficulty, and everyone's just going crazy. And the rest of the matches will then proceed to be the same as in canon, except for the fact that there is no Konoha Crush due to the Sound Ninja not having a leader because their leader is currently locked up in prison. And this would then lead into Gaara releasing Shukaku after realizing that Sasuke had made him bleed, and he bled for the very first time. Gaara would then begin to spurg out, and before Rasa could really try and do anything, Naruto would actually quickly move in, and he would proceed to send Gaara flying through the arena and actually into the forest. Rasa would be confused, but Hiruzen would then tell Rasa that it's going to be alright, and maybe Naruto could actually handle it. Because Naruto has a thing for, making people kind of good. Well, at least that's what Hiruzen kind of says, but not in the exact same words, obviously, but in basically the same message. And we would then move on to Naruto versus Gaara, which would be different here because Naruto is a lot stronger and Gaara is at the same power as he was, and Naruto with his ki attacks should be stronger, and if he does release some of Kurama's chakra, it's about over for Gaara. Before Shukaku's even released, Naruto skull bashes Gaara and Takano Jutsus him, bringing Gaara to the light side, and Rasa thanking the Leaf Village, and especially Naruto, for helping out with his son. At that point, this would then wrap up the Chunin exams, since it would kind of get cancelled thanks to Gaara, and this would then lead into what should be the Tsunade arc, but because Hiruzen's alive, there's no point in getting Tsunade, which means Rock Lee will never become a ninja again, but this also means that they would never encounter Itachi and Kisame, specifically Jiraiya and Naruto wouldn't. Also, Sasuke wouldn't be in the hospital, but probably vibing with Naruto somewhere in the village. They'll probably just be doing some stuff, catching up along with Sakura, maybe just some Team 7 stuff, some filler stuff. And while that's going on, Itachi and Kisame would be fighting Kakashi and them, but they wouldn't know where Naruto is. And because all they could really know is that maybe he's in the village, but there's too many people in the village, they just kind of retreat for now. And this basically means, since Sasuke isn't in the hospital, he'll never know that Itachi is even present, which means no Itachi and Sasuke encounter, which means Sasuke wouldn't be pushed over the edge, which means Sasuke would be kind of completely good here. This would basically conclude our part for now, since really the story kind of abruptly ends after the Chunin exams. Like, all we would know is that Itachi and Kisame were in the village, and Sasuke is just a little mad, but he's more determined to beat him rather than just being desperate for power. And really the story would end with Jiraiya telling them about the Akatsuki, and Jiraiya and Naruto heading out for 2.5 years, and Sasuke and Kakashi training for 2.5 years, while Sakura would be trying to learn Genjutsu stuff from Kurenai, since no Tsunadi's here. And that would conclude part 2 of our story. So what did you guys think of this what if? Did you guys like it? Did you guys hit it? Let me know down below. Comment, like, subscribe, share it with your friends, honestly. Hit the notification bell, that way you are notified and updated every time I upload. I know I stuttered, I don't care, it's the intro, or it's the outro. But, yeah, guys, thanks for watching once again. My name is Tylearn. I'm gonna catch you on the next video. Peace out. Bye.